with Stuart Brisgel and David Solomon every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. You think about it, we rant about it. Listen to us live on Facebook.
You know, I'm so overexcited about today's topic that I jump our own intro. You know, today's Friday. It's the end of the week. It's time to reflect what's gone on this entire week. But we're not going to do that today because in 15 minutes, this topic has been running for close since 1977 with the Bloc Québécois and a man by the name of René Lévesque, who started this escapade with the Bloc Québécois.
Parti Québécois.
What? Parti Québécois was Bloc, but it was Bloc Québécois.
No. The Bloc was the federal party that came into power a few years ago. The Parti Québécois is the provincial
Parti
power.
Québécois. Sorry, excuse me.
Sorry to
there was. I'm sorry, I was involved in the Liberal Party back in the early '80s with a guy named Mario Dumont, who ended up being, you know, the poster child for these wonderful elected officials.
What a jerk.
Yeah, you know, he was an anti-Semite and a jerk.
Anyways, move on.
We're not talking about him. I'm just sort of reminiscing, you know, on a topic that I'm not going to have much to add on. But, you know, growing up in Montreal, Quebec, you know, with Bill 101, and then when it got to the Supreme Court, it ended up turning to Bill 178. And now there's a whole lot bigger story that keeps going and going. And David in Montreal, Quebec, you know, under duress and fear that the Quebec government may go after his cardigan that he's wearing or his sweatshirt, you know, is going to talk about this. And I'm really, really interested, David, on what you got to report about. Let's go. Let's hear.
So, look, you know what? For those of you who are unaware, you know, this province of Quebec is a weird thing in the grand scheme of North America and of U.S. and Canada because we are a majority French. And the reason that this majority has grown so much, to Stuart's point, is back in 1977, a separatist government came into power and passed legislation to effectively listen. The theory was to promote promote the French culture and the French language. That was the theory. The execution was about the elimination of English. So when you drove into Montreal, there were no English signs, not on stores, not on the highway. So imagine you're a New Yorker, a Californian, you're coming into Montreal, and you cannot see a sign in English. It's all in French. How embarrassing is this? This is how much they cared about you, the tourist. But they went a step further, which they thought was a good idea for them, but it ended up being a great idea for myself and for Stuart. They passed the legislation that told us that we had to learn French as a mother tongue. So all of a sudden, Stuart and I became fully bilingual. Now I'm trilingual, but that's not for today. Fully bilingual. So I speak English and French. Those are my my mother tongue. And the French Canadians couldn't go to English school. They weren't allowed. It's against the law. Against the law. If you weren't born and raised in Quebec and went to an English school in Quebec, you were forbidden to go to an English school. Now, there was a loophole that they closed years later with Bill 178. And they just, all it was is a systemic elimination of English. Now, we've had a linguistic peace for years. The realization is that we don't need to have these stupid things happen. But a year ago, it went to the National Assembly, which is our parliament here in Quebec. The people in Montreal were, imagine the audacity, greeting customers with the following: bonjour, hi. Imagine how offensive it is. The two letters, H-I, could piss off that many people. And it did. And it went all the way to the legislative body where unanimously they condemned that approach. So imagine, I can't greet you with the word hi. I mean, bonjour, hi. I mean, it's idiotic. This government, the CAQ, it's a new it's basically a wolf in new sheep's clothing. These are separatists, racists who are looking to put.
Well, hang on a sec, David. David, let's for all those people who live in the United States.
Oh, sorry.
We got to give some background and some context. Quebec is a province, one of 10 in Canada, and there are a couple of territories that are massive that make Canada much larger than the United States. But every single major city is within 500 miles of the U.S. border. Where people don't understand is that Montreal is a small island. 1 second, David. It's a small island. And that island is predominantly has been English, right? Let's not forget that. Until 1977, where the majority of the Anglophones fled the province of Quebec to Ontario, specifically Toronto, Canada, which is now the premier city in all of Canada. Sorry, David, I just wanted to give some context.
No, but I wanted to be clear for everybody that 80% of the Canadian population lives within 100 miles of the U.S. border, but that's just neither here nor there. The thing is that Montreal back in before 1977 was a jewel. It was a city. We had Expo 67, the 76 Olympics. We were, in the world's eyes, a remarkable city that promoted bilingualism, multiculturalism, and this separatist government since 1976 has systemically eliminated and tried to erase English. The latest foray by this latest government, these are a bunch of people from other parties who've come in under a different banner to say, oh, no, we love English. But they've done the following thing. First of all, they passed a law called Bill 21. Bill 21 was the elimination of religious symbols, which means that a Muslim woman who wears a niqab or a headscarf, if you will, is not allowed to be a public school teacher. And if you are someone wearing a large cross, you cannot work you can't work in the public. And if you're a Jew wearing a kippah, you cannot be a judge. You are not allowed to wear these religious symbols. It's vile. Step one of the racism. Step two of the racism is now this new law, Bill 96, which takes the law to a whole new level, which is what infuriates me and wants to make me move out of this province. See, what they were decided to do is, before, if you had 50 employees in your company, everything had to be French. Your memos, your emails, your file folders, everything had to be in French. They're jumping it down to 25 employees. They also were, now we have a language police that used to go into your place to make sure that you did it. I work in a company where they showed up at our door. We're owned by French Canadians. They wanted us to do things that are it's idiotic in today's standards, to translate every single file that we have in our cloud to French. Are you nuts? You know what work we're talking about? This is the kind of idiocy we're talking about. So this bureau or office is now going to become a ministry with ministerial powers to go in and fine you, to go in and share your documents with other ministries if they deem it fit. This is almost Gestapo-like. They want to eliminate English even further.
Are you trying to say it's like neo-Nazism if it's Gestapoism?
It's getting to the point where you're starting to see these little things like 1933 Germany. But here's the thing. They can tell you right now, if a doctor speaks to a patient in English, someone can squeal, call the ministry, and they'll send somebody over to your office.
On Wednesday, there was some words uttered about Kamala Harris being, related to Hitler.
No, stop.
But it sounds like both the United States with the current Democratic Party and you in Montreal and Quebec with the current party there. It sounds remotely very similar. And you use the word Gestapo-like, and I like to call it neo-Nazism. People. I'm not gonna. Let's stop with the terms. Let me put the case forward of why. Okay.
People, this is a scary province to live in, because here's what's going to happen. My choice to send my kids to school was mine because my wife or I could have been schooled in English and we could have sent our kids to English schools. And then they're supposed to go to this community college. And I ranted about this, where the government has decided now, no, community college, 17, 18, 19-year-olds must continue to do in French. And it's like, since when is it like you're telling an adult he can't or she can't learn another language? It's idiotic. They're going to they're reducing your ability to get services in English. They're redefining what is an English person.
What is the amount of teenagers, young adults, leaving the province to go to schools outside of Quebec and the rest of Canada, United States?
They're actually not doing that. That's very American. What's happening here right now is that they're getting jobs outside. They're not going to school outside because university education here is still cheap. You can still go to McGill and Concordia for like $3,000. It's dumb as shit.
That's up $700 from when I went to school.
The crazy thing, Stuart, is that they're getting jobs and they're being recruited from outside of Quebec and they're getting the hell out of here. The problem is that even people like myself, they're trying to tell me, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to get your services in English. You'll have to get them in French. Now, I'm sorry, if I want to get medical services, why can't I get it in English? Why do I have to get it in French? In what world? What world do you
And how
get
many
told that?
doctors can actually work in French?
Listen, you can't get a job and be part of an order if you don't take a French exam. I mean, this is to show you the extent of it. So,
Right, but hang on a
good
second,
people.
David. David, you have a couple of universities in Montreal that have
Mhm.
medical programs. What does McGill Medical
Excuse me.
Program take?
Excuse me, medical program. Do you know
Yep.
that McGill, because of the way things are not accepting students with a 4.0 GPA here in Montreal? They're accepting foreign students because they can't raise it, tuition. But we're going off topic again. The
Okay.
point is that as an English person, if I have to go to court, it's going to make it harder for me to do anything in English. I won't be able to get a translator. I would have to do my court case in French. If I have to go to the hospital, the medical staff there doesn't have to service me in English. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but I get the protection of the French language and the culture, but why is it again at the elimination of a language or a people? Because you want to know something, folks? 40% of all taxes collected in this province comes from the English community of Quebec, which is a small percentage. If you eliminate them, your province is in the shit. You're going to be bankrupt.
David, I was trying to draw that reference over the medical practitioners, right? And I'm trying to just bring up a point. If there's a medical program, how many people go through that medical program? How many of those doctors stay in that province?
Very few now. Very few
Right.
now.
So what
Very
I'm
few.
what I was trying to draw a reference, and it's not off topic, it's very much on topic, is that the government is basically committing suicide
Well, hold on.
by losing the youth.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I'll give you one more example. This is great. If you want to hire someone, say they need to be bilingual, the French government here says you can't do that unless you can prove that they need English in work. I'm sorry. Now you're going to come into my workplace and tell me what I can and cannot do? If I, used to say bilingualism is an asset, I'm not allowed to put that on postings. What the hell? This is what I'm talking about. You might say, not a big deal. But you want to know something, guys? This is step one of eliminating, it's not genocide, but it's the fact is that you're going to watch, again, a group of English-speaking people leave. And would you want to invest in this province? No. So if you're going to get rid of religious symbols and you're going to eliminate a language effectively, and by the way, the irony of it all is that the people in our power here, a lot of them send their kids away to school in English schools. That's the irony of it all. Okay. But the bottom line is that this government is looking to destroy, annihilate the entire English population with laws. And the sad part is, Mr. Trudeau, the federal government, none of the leaders who ran had the balls to stand up to Quebec and say, you can't do that. We have a charter of rights and freedoms, and you're eliminating that. And Mr. Trudeau, since you now have a mandate again, what are you doing to stand up to Quebec? Or are you chicken again to stand up like your father did? Your father flipped the bird to Quebec. When Quebec was going down this, he said, you know what? To hell with you. We do not condone this action. He passed his own legislation for bilingualism. Okay.
So I just got some numbers for you, David. I love numbers. In 1977, after in 1976, right, when they got elected, 46,000 people left Quebec in 77. More than 125,000 left by 1981. And according to the 2015 report by the Fraser Institute, it was called Going Down the 401.
Correct.
The residential real estate prices in Montreal slumped, and Toronto became the icon of Canada.
The Mecca of Canada. And by the way, if you go to some places in Toronto, they'll be very happy to say we thank Montreal for building out the base of what Toronto has become today.
And folks, it was Camille Lorrain, the minister.
Camille Lorrain was the doctor. Camille Lorrain was the guy, the initiator of Bill 101.
Yep.
And now we're going. And by the way, he's praised and loved. And again, guys, in philosophy, we get it. But I know I've got my godmother's son, may she rest in peace, has a bakery here where he has a sign that says welcome in 15 or so languages. And the language police showed up at his place and said, you have to take it down. It has to only be in French. And what in idiocy? Why? There's only one reason, so that the English community can disappear. Stuart.
Well, what about the secret? Hang on. Well, one last thing, and we can talk about it again. The secret metro to the West Island.
That's a whole other conversation that you're like, I won't even get into. But the folks,
well, that
guys,
was an Anglophone.
The thing is, guys, for me, as someone living here with 3 children, I'm asking myself, what's the future for an native English speaker? None. I've said it for years, but I cannot believe how this government has the audacity. And by the way, in our federal election during the campaign, when asked about it, it became such a hot button topic here. How dare the federal government get involved in Quebec affairs? Oh, please. We're part of Canada, and you're about to destroy Montreal, Quebec, because you're going to finally get what you think you want.
You're welcome in Florida any day of the week. You and your entire family. We would love to have you. The Mexican border is open in Texas. Just walk on in. We'll let you in the country. No problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached way past our quarter hour. Love to hear comments from you. In promoting this, there were some people who sent me some stuff and some stuff on posted on our Facebook. We love it. Please continue to do so. We will be back Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of next week and weeks to come, of course, with another live edition of the Rant Network. We look forward to seeing you guys all in the near future. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the fall foliage if you can.